Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is Reverie Readings and Healings, and today I work with spirit guides a lot, and I work with archangels as a subsection of that a lot. And some archangels came to me today and asked me to do a reading to bring through guidance messages from archangels, and also this may come through in every pile, this may only come through in some piles, I won't know until we do the reading, but also healing energies. They want to bring through the readings as well. Healing energies through my voice, through the words, through the energy of the reading being transmitted through the video. Healing activations, specifically, they're saying. So activating parts of you in a way that will bring healing to you. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, I gotta tell y'all, it is really hilarious sometimes to be able to bear witness to conversations amongst your spirit guides, because they were genuinely arguing over which oracle deck to use for pile 2's significator, but they did guide me on which oracle deck to use for each pile's significator. They did guide me to use oracle decks in the first place. So your group is pile 1 if you are drawn to the messages from the Mermaid's deck. I'm being drawn to the number 44 on this deck, so that may have significance for you. If you're being drawn to that angel number, pile 1 may be your pile. Pile 2, the long fought over tea leaf oracle deck. If you are drawn to the tea leaf oracle, then this is your pile number 2. And it's pile 2, and we have 200 on here. So 22 may be an angel number of significance for you. And last but not least, pile number 3. One of my angels just said, saving the best for last, in fact. So pile 3 is your group if you are drawn to the energy oracle deck. And yes, they are saying that I should tell you that 8, because 5 plus 3 is 8, and 53 is on the cover of this deck. If 8 is an angel number, or 88, 888, etc., is an angel number that you are drawn to, then go ahead and go with pile 3. So without further ado, I will see you at your piles. Pause the video if you need to meditate or take some deep breaths to tap into which pile is calling to you as having messages for you today, and I will see you there. Hello, pile 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your reading if you chose the energy oracle deck for your messages from the archangel reading. And we're going to dive right in with shuffling the energy oracle deck for messages from the archangels. What does pile 3 need to hear, please, angels and archangels, spirit guides and higher selves of pile 3? Whew, just got a really nice settling whoosh of energy. The sun. And of course the literal sunlight factors hugely into my readings, as always. Let's bring this a little closer so you can see it despite my lighting challenges, which I do apologize for. I'm hearing the word abundance over and over again. There's a real sense of basking in the sunlight, in your own glory, and in the natural world, the beauties of the natural world. We have the little bird down here, bird song I'm hearing. Basking in the beauties of the natural world, in your own natural gifts and your own natural essence. Basking in your own natural gifts and essence, and allowing them to shine through. More than allowing them, reveling in them shining through, so that you kind of feel the sense of you basking in the glory of your own gifts, and you can feel that that's the way that someone else who is also open and primed to receive them would receive your gifts, would bask in them. So the way that you might bask in birdsong if you just absolutely love hearing that while you're taking a walk, your own essence, your own vibration, and the outward expression of those in gifts. So, you know, your loved ones might bask in your essence and your vibration. You can do the same. Bask in your energy, the way that you feel when you're around a friend that you can just chill in silence with, someone that you can just take a walk and enjoy nature with, or the way you feel about nature, the way you can just breathe deep and sigh and just revel in being connected with the trees and the birds and the squirrels when you're taking a walk. Substitute that for whatever you have in your part of the world if squirrels are not the creature that is everywhere in your part of the world. And Archangel, I'll be curious if more confirmation of this comes through in the cards, but Archangel Michael, which I pronounce Mikhail, or Mikhail, it'll come out different ways when I say it different times, forgive me in advance, this is his reading. He's talking to me, channeling through me, speaking with me, 100% taking the charge on this reading. This is his one. He's like, you saved the best for last. I know. You've been waiting. I'm here I am, it's me. He's always had a fantastic sense of humor with me, so thank you for indulging us on our antics, as I'm sure they will continue. But he's being very serious about, like, you deserve the world, you deserve the sun, and you are the sun. Like, take your own gifts seriously, the gift that you are and the gifts that you have to offer. Your natural energy that you emanate just by existing is a gift to this world, regardless of whether you ever do anything other than make yourself happy. You just existing in your own little tower on a mountain, not interacting with anyone else, but doing the things that made you just effervescent with joy, if it were possible for those to not involve other people, would still radically affect the vibration of everyone on Earth, human, plant, animal, mineral, all of it, and therefore the whole universe. And so if you then are offering the expression of your energy to the world in a way that also lights you up, as unself-consciously as possible, he's saying that this is real selflessness, actually, to actually be so self-involved, so into yourself, that you are yourself and offer yourself, you embody and offer yourself so effortlessly or seemingly effortlessly. That's selflessness. To be so centered on yourself that you are not carefully measuring and dosing the teaspoons in which you offer your truth and your true self and your true light, your true joys and gifts and passions and essence and vibration to the world, whether that's calming people down or lighting a fire under their butt. That's unique to each and every one of you. Whether you do one of those two things or something completely different, you might also light a fire under someone's butt in a completely radically different way than the person next to you does. So your vibration is like a fingerprint, completely unique to you, and this is all coming from him. This is not like my analysis. Your vibration is like a fingerprint, completely unique to you. He's also likening it to the patterns of reindeer's antlers. He's saying that those are also completely unique to each reindeer. And he's saying the world would be lost without you, actually. And to dwell in doubt of that is to deprive the world of great joy, rich medicine, and sparkling starlight. That's what he's saying. Okay. Second chakra, Archangel Ariel. This chakra is really the one that would be most lit up by, and the one in which blockages would most obstruct and impede basking in your own energy. It's the one that is most blocked by shame. All of them are, of course, but the most blocked by shame, and by waffling about your own right to your own life. And again, all of them would be, but this, he's actually giving me the flavor of like orange creamsicles with this rich orange, and giving me the sense of imbibing, he's saying getting high on your own supply, like imbibing in your own medicine in a really like playful, fun, joyful way, in the sense of basking in yourself, reveling in yourself, admiring yourself. Like turn the lights on for yourself, in yourself. He's reminding me of that saying / lyric, the lights are on but nobody's home. And saying like, put the lights on for yourself when you're at home. Like show yourself what it feels like to have space held for you by you, to hear your own song, to dance your own dance, or witness your own dance. Help me with the words for this, Mikhail. I'm having a little trouble getting across what I can feel you trying to convey. He's kind of saying, excuse me, sorry. He's giving me this image of confidence, but then taking a step back from confidence, or pre-confidence, before confidence, to really feeling into, kind of like we talk about breaking down the word intimacy, see into someone, to feel into someone, seeing and feeling into each other is intimacy. And there are all sorts of people who might think they're all about just intellectually understanding each other and not realizing, well, really understanding each other is feeling into and seeing into each other. That is intimate. That is emotionally intimate. And if you're gonna try to do that without the emotions involved, that's quite hairy and can be very duplicitous. And this little tangent is also coming from Mikhail. It might come up again later in terms of advice about relationships, we'll see, but getting close in that way to your own energy, essence, vibration, and gifts, so that you really, it's not about intellectually understanding. It's like, take a step back from trying to intellectualize what it is you have to offer, trying to market it, trying to package it, trying to write a blurb about it. Take a step back from that and really feel it, feel into it, understand it on a felt level. From there, the words you would put to it, the elevator pitch, the book, however, whatever type of words or description or packaging you would put on it will come naturally, because, well, when you're trying to package, a shirt versus a television versus a priceless work of art, like the type of packaging you need to protect and carry and convey each of those things is naturally born of, well, what shape is it? What is it for? What is it made out of? Where is it going? So similarly, when you actually have a felt understanding of yourself, then the intellectual, analytical, conceptual understanding will flow naturally from that, will wrap naturally around that, kind of like skin growing around, or bark growing around a sapling that has germinated from the ground and isn't its fully hardened adult tree self yet. This is fascinating. So yeah, he's saying get curious about yourself, feel into yourself, ask for help from him, from your spirit guides, from your angels, your archangels, Archangel Ariel, as well as Archangel Michael. Gabriel is also coming forward about this, and Raphael, and Uriel. So some of you may just work with some of them, some of you may work with all of them. Regardless of who you're working with, ask Spirit and your higher self to help you with just delving into the felt sense of your own being, your own energy, your own vibe, your own gifts, so that you can experience basking in them. And that felt sense of how much you have to offer will naturally also flow into confidence, the same way it will naturally flow into, oh, well, of course you have to package a TV in this way. Of course you have to offer this spiritual gift in this way because that's just the way it makes sense to offer it. And it's not even have to. Of course you're going to offer it because it just makes sense. It fits like a glove. And he's saying that's the key to your confidence at this particular moment in time, is going, well, wait a second, what if I do deserve X, Y, and Z? What if I do deserve to, for example, have fans? Because fans are generally, of course, there are many types of fans with many types of focus and different disciplines and areas of celebrity and of life in the world and study in general. But in general, we would probably think of a fan as someone who would bask in the sheer energy, presence, vibes of the person or thing they're a fan of. So as an example, apply this to you or put it in different words as fits for you. What if I do deserve to have fans? What is it that they would bask in about me? What is it that would make them go, God, I just love this person so much. I just love their work so much. What is it about myself, my work, the energy I put into the world and my work that would make them have those moments of just, gosh, I just love this so much. Like, this just gets me. This person gets me, or this work gets me. Or this, I flow with this. This is my jam. This helps me flow. This makes me get into a flow. This makes me want to dance. This makes me want to get up and move and change my life. You know, whatever it is, what is it about your essence that someone might vibe with so much? And ask to be kind of on the receiving end of that felt experience. And you don't have to know like what the nature of the work would be yet to have this apply to you. You might have no intention of ever becoming like a dancer or a musical artist or a performer, but still just ask sort of like, what would it make, like if I were putting out an album or putting on a performance, what would it make someone feel? Or you might have no intention of ever revealing all the details of your backstory to people, but you might go, if someone really got me, really understood my backstory, what would it make them feel? What would move them so much about it? You know, what would they admire so much about me? Because you've probably overcome some stuff. Okay. Are there any other words that need to be said about that? Yes. What else needs to be said about that? Those examples may or may not resonate for everyone here in terms of like, oh, the backstory, the performance. If you had a vibe that was summed up in an album, what would it be like? But the point is, your medicine, your gift, your energy to experience receiving that, you could treat this as a journaling exercise, you could treat this as an experiential exercise, an exercise where you just ask the question, set the intention that you're going to receive answers through signs, synchronicities, and experiences over the next several days, over the next week, the next 3 days, 2 days, whatever it is for you that works. You could invite other people in your life into this and ask them what they think the answer to the question is, or you could, in a chat with, a therapist or a friend or loved one, tell them what you think it is. But assuming that you do deserve admiration, applause, to have your gifts received as wonderful, marvelous gifts, then what is it that makes them so wonderful and marvelous and miraculous? Like, what is the felt sense of that? Am I getting that right, Mikhail? Yes, he's saying yes. Is there, okay. He's saying, like, everyone is innately, at their core, regardless of whether they are showing up as their truest self or not, in their truest self, everyone is deserving of this basking, this freedom, this liberation to live their gifts, this liberation to receive, all the connection and validation and intimacy and all the all the applause, all the flowers, all the deeper than applause and flowers, though. It's like all the real, like, golden recognition of, like, you have so much value. Everyone deserves to be valued. But when you think of the people that you are fans of, you probably do, in addition to that je ne sais quoi, where it's just like, I just vibe with them, they're just my jam, you probably do also have things specifically that you value so much about them. So he's wanting you to get that experience of just valuing you for that je ne sais quoi that's just you and can't be put into words, and he's wanting you to get the felt experience of what specifically there is about you that is so valuable, that will be so valued by other people, and potentially already is. Okay, I'm getting that right? Okay, time for another card. The Thinking Woman. I've never pulled this card from this deck before. The Thinking Woman, number 47. We have 136 and 47, so that's also 1, 9, and 11. Lots of green in this card. And we have butterflies and roses, for those that might be significant for. And we have, for some of you, this specific type of locale might also have some sort of significance as well. I may have neglected to mention Raphael when I was listing archangels you might be drawn to work with earlier. The green is reminding me he is definitely coming through here. The Thinking Woman. They're wanting me to go to the guidebook for this one. Number 47. Female of wisdom or understanding are the keywords in this card. This card shows a woman holding a book standing before a staircase ready to lead you to higher understanding. This woman could be a friend who helps you express and understand your feelings, or she could be a teacher brought to your life at this time to take you in a new direction. This could also be a new love interest with a woman who is thoughtful, conscious, and aware, or like the Thinking Man, the card could represent a side of yourself that's ready to blossom and bring clarity and assistance to the world. If so, find your voice and let your wisdom shine. Affirmation. I open my mind and heart to my own inner wisdom. I am thoughtful, focused, and clear. So this could apply to physical people for some of you, but what Mikhail and the Archangels coming through are saying is that this is a message of your spirit guides coming through to lead you to higher understanding, as the description says. To lead you to higher understanding of yourself and how you show up in the world. You may be in a place in your life, they're saying, where you've really cultivated your vibration in a highly protected and highly developed, evolved way, where you've really done a lot of perhaps inner work, perhaps shadow work, perhaps therapy, perhaps somatic work. And you have really cultivated your vibration like a tree that has grown into adulthood, like a garden. We have the roses here, we have the butterfly, no cocoon in sight. Expressing that vibration out loud in front of other people, in connection with others, in public, as an offering in that way that is made manifest and tangible, like publishing a book, for example. This woman is depicted outside, not indoors, hidden away. That may be the next step that is requiring some higher understanding of yourself first, to really, instead of trying to work from the outside in, of what do I want this to look like, go into the felt understanding as he was describing, and from that felt sense, that level of higher understanding, let that lead you to, well, now that I understand this so clearly, how does it want to be packaged? How does it need to be conveyed? And there's an emphasis on thoughtful, focused, and clear here, as well as your inner wisdom that connects both the mind and the heart, so that felt sense. What's the word? They're giving me the picture of a geyser, that felt sense overflowing into the conceptual mind, from the inside out, from the groundswell up, rather than trying to work from the outside in, and clarity and focus really coming from there. Thoughtfulness really not being about these intellectual overthinking thoughts, these analytical mind thoughts, but really coming from the felt sense and consideration of the felt sense and the felt impact that you want to have and that you can have, because they're saying that you are currently undervaluing the felt impact you can have, that you have the capacity to impart upon people, and that's why they want you to experience it from the inside out, and also as if you were on the receiving end, so that you would understand how priceless it is and have this natural confidence that isn't arrogant or blowing smoke up your own butt, that comes from that. The same way if you experienced work with a practitioner that changed your life, you wouldn't have any doubt or hesitation about referring someone else to them based on that. And when you have that same experience of yourself, of I can feel how my energy, my investment, my effort, etc., insert the accurate word there, has impacted myself and changed my own life. When I feel that impact, it's not about like it being arrogant or humble. It's completely, that dichotomy, that paradigm is completely irrelevant to then explaining to someone else, oh, this is how I could benefit you. If you are in a place to benefit from that, hit me up. It's not arrogant, it's just a statement of fact. And you can have that confidence of it just being very matter of fact when you've had that felt sense of yourself really ingrained, really, when you've really soaked it in. Yeah. Okay, what else? Which deck? Okay, they're drawing me to the Light Seers Tarot. That's what that deck looks like. I'm going to move these up a little so that we have room for cards, hopefully. Yeah, they're telling me that type of confidence that's so matter of fact and experience based is also undentable. That's the way they're putting it. Because if it's not for someone in a specific time of their life, if it's just not what they need, that has nothing to do with you. That's not a statement of whether you're good at what you do. You're the best at what you do, but what you do isn't what they need at that time. They need a different medicine. They need a different gift. And they're reminding you that what someone values is, like, what is valuable is not objective. What each individual values is highly subjective and highly fluid, depending on where they are in their life, what they need, what they lack, what they already have, and what they want. So whether someone values you or not is not a statement about you. And they're saying that that is relationship advice for you, as well as self-worth advice that will lead into, potentially career paths or passion projects, the way that this expression of your gifts theme might unfold for you. Whether someone values you or not, or whether they are good at expressing that they value you or not, has nothing to do with you and is not a reflection on you in any way. Someone might, deep down value you a lot, but be really, Archangel Mikhail is saying, shit at expressing it, and that's not on you. And that doesn't mean you have to tolerate it just because you can see or feel that on some level they do value you, maybe even cherish you on an internal level. Shape up or ship out is not a bad watchword in relationships. He's saying, if someone is too cowardly to express to you that they value you, if someone is too fearful to admit that anyone else actually has enough of an impact or enough importance to them for them to really say out loud that they value them on a personal level, then that's on them, and you don't need that in your life. That's their loss when you walk away. And some of you have not walked away yet, but he's saying you will. And many of you have already walked away, and many of you have already walked away from many situations, but there's still, or maybe not still, but simply at this time in your life, one or two, he's saying that you are currently needing to walk away from, and you'll know if that's the case, he's saying. Okay. Six of Pentacles. Giving and receiving in the Six of Pentacles. It's a card of generosity in both giving and receiving, and we have these root, sacral, and solar plexus colors on the biggest pentacles here, really aligning very nicely with this golden orange moon-like orb that Archangel Ariel is holding. This really mirrors very nicely that energy of generously soaking in your own luxurious, abundant energy, and from that well of infinite appreciation, gratitude, and receptiveness towards yourself and your own gifts and towards the universe, from there naturally overflowing that to other people, generously offering it to other people from a place of generously receiving nourishment for your gifts as well as receiving the gifts themselves. And then the infinity loop continues as you generously then receive an energy exchange for what you generously offer to people. Appreciation was the first part that came up, actually, before the monetary value came in. The emotional value came in as a message there. That validation of your value in various tangible ways. Various real ways. What you have to offer is real. It's real to other people, and you deserve to experience it being real to yourself and having a real payoff or payback. Three of Cups. This came out in an extremely different context in pile 2. Extremely different. But there is a theme of abundance in both, so you may very well have messages in both, and that is a signal for some of you to check it out if you haven't already. And I was guided to put that under the thinking woman. So for some of you, this friendship card, the Three of Cups, is signaling friends in your human life as opposed to, spirit guides, etc. As opposed to pets, all of that. That hold your gifts in reverence. Hold your essence as something to be handled with care, a priceless artifact that should be treated as such. That hold your wisdom in high regard. What is similar about the context or the energy of the Three of Cups in this reading and in pile 2 is this sense of hushed reverence that I personally get from this scene of these three friends beholding the stars together. This sense of awe. With this coming out in this context and with the Six of Pentacles, it's an affirmation that you deserve awe, you deserve to be marveled at. You are miraculous and magnificent, Mikhail is saying. And you may already have people around you who hold you in that regard more than you realize. This is a little bit different from the energy of someone who holds you in that regard but won't say it and won't show it, won't treat you accordingly, and therefore is not really worth your time. This is more like someone who does treat you with respect and care and consideration, but may kind of do so quietly and matter-of-factly, show up for you. And because it's not so showy or so loud, you may not quite realize how much that is reflective of this deeper, what word are you suggesting, Mikhail? This deeper awe, this deeper, not deeper, bigger, this more expansive appreciation and value for you. Perhaps you're so used to questioning or doubting your value and whether you're good enough that the matter of fact, the way this person takes their high regard of you and their esteem of you as a matter of course has not quite registered with you, and you're being guided to kind of strip that lens away and look at them in a different light, look at your relationship with them in the light of, oh, they show up for me like that because if I actually feel into it without this assumption that I wouldn't be good enough for that type of appreciation or esteem, I can actually feel that the way they show up for me is underlaid by this esteem. They do hold me in high regard, and I was just kind of assuming that they didn't because I didn't. And the more you light yourself up, the more you light your life by your own sunshine, the more other people who also do the same for themselves, the more you'll be a match for them and have opportunities to share in each other's gardens, Mikhail is saying. When your garden is flourishing, it's really easy to strike up a barter with the neighbor down the road whose garden is also flourishing, metaphorically speaking. Page of Wands, passion, inspiration, a new beginning, but also a level up. The pages have a beginner's mind, but it's also a level up from the numbered cards to move into the court cards in tarot. Before the page becomes a page, they are a common school child or maybe not even school child in sort of either historic or fantasy world parlance, depending on which types of books you've read, which type of nerd you are. I'm calling myself out as a fantasy book fan, in case you couldn't tell. He's saying a beginner's mind will serve you well. A child's joy in not like developing their skills, but not merely developing their skills. They don't look at it, when you think of a child's mind, a beginner's mind, they don't look at it as merely developing their skills. We often get this sort of linear, stepwise association with that idea of development. That's the model we have in our minds. But when you look at it from a true, expansive beginner's mind, a child's playful, joyful, innocent view or mindset, developing your skills is actually it's not this linear thing, it's this whole field to play in. It doesn't just move forward, it's also expansive on all sides, and you don't have to go just straight forward. You can zig and zag. You can go over here to check out these cool flowers. You can go over there to look at the fish. You become open to all sorts of surprises, just like this odd bowl garden in the sun card is full of surprises. There's some kind of gramophone or tuba or something growing out of a plant here. There's paintbrushes growing out of the ground. And we have the bird in the cage next to the free bird here. This is a parallel with this Page of Wands, freeing yourself from the cage of that type of linear, so-called adult, calcified thinking and view of the world and view of what life is supposed to be and what growth is supposed to look like. Look at growth in nature. Do you see a lot of straight lines there? You see some straight lines up to the sun, sure. We have palm trees and pine trees, but even they are not only straight lines. And I highly doubt the journey to the surface from a seed that's germinating feels like, oh yeah, just a step, a hop, and a skip, straightforward from point A to point B. So that expansive field of view and that expansive permissiveness to zig and zag and skip and jump as well as hop and go play in the river and not be worried about getting wet because you're supposed to be walking in a straight line, staying dry, and you're not a success if you don't get to the end as quickly as possible and as dry as possible. Mikhail is bringing up that's like that lovely saying, I think. It might sound morbid, but I think it's a fantastic saying about the only reward you get then is to arrive at death safely. Like, we're all ending up, like, if you want to get to the end as quickly as possible, is that really the point of life? Is that really how you want to live your life? Or do you want to be alive and vibrant in the process? And would it maybe be better to have enjoyed your life and have zigged and zagged and gotten wet and muddy than to arrive across the field with plenty of time to spare, dry, and having not even noticed most of the journey? So some words of inspiration there from our archangels. And being open to those surprises on the way is actually key to anyone's success, to anyone's thriving. Being open to detours, possibly actually having Easter eggs and surprising rewards, and bearing fruits instead of just being a detour is really key to anyone's success. This Page of Wands has a magic wand, and she's not afraid to throw it in the air. She knows she can catch it. But she might not know every time she waves it what's going to come out. And your own gifts are the same way. As you play around with applying them in different situations in different ways, you will have results and outcomes that you could not have foreseen. And some of those will be your greatest treasures in terms of your own fulfillment and in terms of your output. Six of Cups came out in reversed. These dogs are so cute. We have in this depiction of the Six of Cups the adult man and dog looking back on their child selves. And we have this curving trail of their path leading from the past to the present, or potentially to the future. Six of Cups reversed. On the one hand, this is a very neat mirror of the energy I was just describing about what you really value when you get to the end of your life. You value your emotional fulfillment and your loving connections and the adventures you've had, the memories that you cherish, and the contributions that you've made that you really cherish, that are more than numbers. These bonds can't be broken, and they can't be reduced to words or numbers. Yeah, a lot of times when I see the Six of Cups reversed, I am really, in a lot of readings, it's really like nostalgia holding someone back, being nostalgic or looking at things through rose-colored glasses that maybe really weren't so great. Maybe wishing you had something back that you actually wouldn't want back if you got to try it on. But in this case, that's not really so much what I'm getting. What I'm getting is more like you are in between this infant toddler self and this maybe more retired or more senior version. And I'm not really making too much judgment on how the human in the card looks age-wise. It's the energy that I'm getting. It's easy to see infinite potential and worth in the toddler, in the puppy. It's easy to see the innocence there. It's easy, for most people at least, I hope, to see play and expansiveness and space to roam and not have to stay in a straight line as a need for those little beings, the young ones. And that, none of that has disappeared. That play and freedom to roam is still a need for you, and that infinite potential and worth is still there. You still have so many choices left to make, is how our Archangel friend is putting it. Our Archangel guide for this tour. You still have so many choices left to make. Why are you essentially crying over spilled milk? He's saying, he's giving me this image of if one of these bowls had broken, some people might then go, oh no, all of my life path potentials are shattered, all of my dreams are shattered or inhibited in some way. And he's saying, why are you limiting yourself like that? There are so many other choices left to make still. There are other bowls, there are other cups, there are other opportunities. The choices that you have made do place you in certain circumstances now, but they don't actually limit you in the way of preventing you from making choices every single day that are expansive, abundant, liberating. You may say like, oh, I regret these choices so much. They've really limited my current options. But choice is always present. So even if it does feel limited right now, really kind of capitalize on zoom in if necessary on, or maybe zoom out so as to better see the choices that are available at any given moment. With 36, 6 of Cups and 6 of Pentacles and 3 of Cups, 3, 6, and 9 may be very significant energies for some of you. That's also a lot of Venus and Empress energy and Jupiter energy. Third house energy as well. And Jupiter and the Empress and Venus are very expansive energies, very lush, nourished and nourishing energies, very abundant, in Jupiter's sense, in a sense of like bigger is better, more is more, expanding and capitalizing fruitfully on everything. In the Venus and Empress sense, in a very tangible, grounded, rooted sense of abundance of, I have what I need, I'm not afraid to receive it, to take it, and I'm not afraid to grow it into something that bears fruit. I'm not afraid to offer that fruit. I'm not afraid to eat it myself. I am here in the moment, and I am enjoying the hell out of it. Okay, what else, Spirit Guides? They're kind of drawing the energy of the reading to a close. What final messages can we bring through for pile 3? Any messages to either tie things together, clarify things, confirm things, or give some lost pieces of advice? Mikhail just told me, you said it all. Which I appreciate. I'm very grateful for that confirmation for myself. But any other confirmations or messages or clarifications that pile 3 might want or need. I'm being drawn to the Tea Leaf Oracle, and we have Inkpot, problems to be resolved. What I'm really being drawn to here, though, I mean, we have the feather as a sign of angelic guidance. For some of you, looking out for feathers for some of you, looking out for feathers is something you're being guided to do or to return to if maybe you used to do it and you haven't in a while, as part of your signs and synchronicities that will help you understand and interpret intuitive messages and nudges that you're being given. Even more than that, I'm being drawn to how rich this violet ink is, this blue, purple, violet ink, almost plum colored. This is also very similar to what we were talking about with, like, don't cry over spilled milk. If one pot is broken, recycle the pieces into something else and move on to another pot when necessary. But there's also, even more than that, the message is the ink isn't dry, and the ink is rich and full of potential. You know, the ink isn't dry on your life. There's so much room for things to change. There's so much that is malleable. There's so much clay for you to shape at this time in your life. There's so much that you get to decide what it's going to look like. You have free reign, and you deserve that. You can be trusted with it. But more than that is this central issue of there's so much richness here. Don't waste it by thinking that it's already depleted, or that the ink is already dried, or that you can't use it because some of it has been spilled. It's kind of giving me this image of, like, scoop it off the ground. It's not dried yet. Scoop it into a new pot and reuse it. And I think that's really a metaphor for you, your energy, your gifts. Okay, so these previous circumstances fell apart. It's like the Taylor Swift song, It's Time to Go. He's got my past frozen behind glass, but I've got me. Your energy, your richness, your offerings are all yours. So what if the previous circumstances fell apart? And not only will new ones come together, you actually have the ability to get a new pot, or make a new pot or container, or reuse some container you already have to put your gifts into, your energy into. And don't underestimate, like, he's kind of reminding me of how valuable indigo is as a dye, with this rich blue purple color here. Like, don't underestimate how valuable this is. If it were, indigo in the olden days, there would be a scramble to salvage as much of what had been spilled as possible. And you are that precious. That sense of urgency isn't meant to be panic-inducing the way someone might feel if you spilled a priceless dye on the ground and were trying to see if you could collect any of it. But there is a sense of urgency just in the sense of fire and passion, like fierceness on your own behalf, passion for your richness, what you have to offer, the riches and wisdom and treasures within you, the energies and gifts within you, what you have to offer your next situation now that the previous ones have fallen apart and been swept aside to be recycled. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here, for your messages from the Archangels, especially Archangel Michael today. I hope this has given you some much needed guidance, reassurance, clarification, inspiration. And I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. If you feel drawn to book a private reading, please visit my website linked in the description and in my bio, and I'll see you there.